Pigweed here. Today we review a Scotch ale and discuss the decline of Western civilization. Okay.
Hey, here we are.
Hello,
right. How about some
hello.
beer and conversation?
How about it? So, what are we drinking?
Well, we have a Scottish ale.
Do we?
Or do we?
We have a Scotch ale and a Scottish ale,
Scotch
and I
and a
will
Scottish.
explain.
Okay. Well, okay. That's fine. We'll get to that in a minute. But what's on your mind?
About 25 years ago, I was just a little sprout running around in the yard.
Sure, yeah.
And this talk of multiculturalism came about, and everybody was on board, left and right. Everybody's, you know what, that's a great idea. All European countries should embrace, well, I mean, otherwise you're saying what? You hate other cultures?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
So...
Or you're saying our culture is better, or one of those things that's not polite to
you
say.
can't say that. And I quietly said, I'm not sure this is going to go so good.
Yeah.
And then we had 9/11, and we had some other attacks, and I said, there are certain people you're letting into your country that don't want to assimilate and become part of your country. And I'm thinking this is the beginning of the end of Western civilization, and I know that was pretty...
Yeah.
That's too much now. Come on, easy. We ended Western civilization. I'm saying, no, not now. I'm saying 100 years from now.
The other question is, maybe Western civilization should end.
No, that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
So anyway, I want to talk about, are we at the end of the... Are there signs?
Okay.
That's the question. Are we seeing signs of the decline of Western civilization?
Okay, well, that's a fair question. But I'm curious about this. What is this Scottish?
I know, I threw you a little curveball here, didn't I? Because people just, the beer world, they're crazy out there. They'll just throw Scotch and Scottish around as if it's the same thing. But I tell you,
no, it's not.
It is not true.
It is not true.
We have a Scotch ale over here, and we have a Scottish ale over here. And let's clear this mystery up that everybody's talking about.
Everybody in the whole country is talking about this. I see it online all the time.
You just hear people on the street going, Scotch or Scottish?
So here's the simple rule.
All right, keep it easy.
Okay. Scotch is like the liquor, Scotch.
Okay.
Right?
So
Scotch ale is the stronger one.
Okay, that's easy.
That's easy. So Scotch, like Scotch, is the stronger one, and Scottish is the lighter one.
Okay, and it also seems to be the darker.
Yes.
And I assume maltier.
Maltier and more alcohol and all that stuff. I mean, the Scotch ale is the strong one in every way.
Now, is there? Should I look for some peatiness? In either or both of these? I mean, that's what defines Scotch whiskey.
That's right.
Is a peatiness. I mean, why would they call it that if they're not going to?
That's actually a really good question. I actually didn't read anything about peatiness.
I heard some peatiness when I was reading, but I heard maltiness, lower hop, lower booze. All right, so when we get to the hops and the booze and the hops, the Old Chub is 8%.
Yeah,
that's solid.
I mean, the bottom line is I love both of these.
The Scotch ale, which which the numbers were telling me like 3 to 6. This one's 6.3, so it's no joke.
The Scottish ale.
The Scottish, yes.
The Scottish ale, yeah. And we made a winning Scottish ale for a homebrew competition.
Robert the Bruce.
Robert the Bruce, that's right. We won, third place in the... that's right. Yeah. That was an excellent beer.
Very well done.
But
so, yes, I'm getting... Yes, it seems like the weaker younger brother of the Scotch ale. So if you see 2 on the menu, you must realize that Scotch...
Scotch is like the whiskey.
Boozier.
It's boozier.
Boozier.
And Scottish is more sessionable. So if you're going to be having 4 of them, go for the Scottish.
You don't need 4 old chubs.
No. 4 old chubs and you will be having...
Yeah, your chubby will be in the dirt.
Yes, you'll have some trouble with the... I like old chub.
That is great. And
it's also good for camping.
Yes, and it was... at my local, it was $10.99 for an 8%er.
Wow.
That's really reasonable,
pretty good.
right?
Yeah, right down the road here?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, good. So, okay, Scotch ale is the strong, boozy one. Scottish ale is the sessionable, lower alcohol.
Yeah,
and
lower,
they're both delicious.
Lower hop, lower everything.
I've always been a big fan of both. I think I like the malty, not horribly hopped beers.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've cleared this
mystery.
This
thing. Everybody's been talking about this all over the place, and we've finally solved it for you. Yeah.
Settle now.
So thank you. Yeah, I mean, you should thank us. Yeah.
So look.
Western
the
civilization.
West is the best.
Did you take a class on Western civilization? I took a class called Western Civilization at our high school.
I was so dumb in high school that the first time I saw that, I thought it meant the American West, and I was like, "Is this a history
cowboy?
a history class on pioneers and cowboys?"
Right. Yeah.
Oh, great! That sounds like a dumb class. Anyway, but no, in college, it was 100%. It was liberal arts college. It was across the board general requirement.
Yeah.
Western Civ 1, Western Civ 2. It's ancient Greece to Middle Ages, Renaissance to modern times.
Right.
And it's totally Eurocentric.
And why in the world wouldn't you study that?
Why wouldn't you
live in the
do
West? Yeah, exactly. So, Western civilization has built the greatest things. This was...
Oh, gosh.
Started. Who invented the iPhone? You know? Who invented the internet? Who invented everything?
Well, yes. Who invented modernity?
Yeah.
Why is it there? I can't find a single person that wishes they lived 100 years ago.
Right.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because of everything that you love about not living 100 years ago was given to you, presented to you by
the United States.
By Western civilization, and do I have to go there? Dead white men.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
Almost everything good in our lives.
Everything that you could not live about.
Yeah.
Live without.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so there are some things that come from other places, like tea. But I can live without
Talking about
tea.
Civilization.
Yeah, civilization is the product of the West, and that's the way it is right now.
And
but
yes,
unfortunately,
and you're welcome.
Yes.
So
unfortunately, it's under threat, and there are a lot of things that are against Western civilization right now.
Hey, ho, ho. Western Civ has got to go.
Thank you, Jesse Jackson.
Is that something that is coming? Are they chanting that on the campuses in Beijing and Dubai? Or are they chanting that on the campuses of Ivy League schools?
It's amazing the self-hatred and self-loathing of certain people within Western civilization.
No, Western civilization... Hold on, let me just get this straight. We have fought back Muslim hordes and people who want to bring down the West for centuries.
Yes.
That is not the problem.
No.
The problem is the rot from within.
Yes. And it's kind of it would be an interesting psychological study to determine why. Why does the West hate it? Why, like, we have this, there's things like you're on a plane and there's 300 people on the plane and the plane crashes and like 10 people survive and you're one of them.
Right.
And you have like the survivor's guilt. There's something sort of like that
That's
going
very
on
good.
in this whole Western civilization.
Yes. It's like, why are I'm mad that our lives are so much better than everybody else.
That's
right. What is up with that?
Exactly. Why?
Blue-haired monster?
Yeah. So there is a certain amount of this kind of survivor's guilt.
Yes.
This kind of like feeling bad that we're better.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Yes. Yes.
I understand that as a phenomenon, but shouldn't you have the self-reflection to say, okay, I realize that's what's going on. But still, yes, we are better.
Yes, and look at our cities; they're beautiful, and look at these places; they're safe, and this is the place that I want to raise my children. And if I don't, it's coming from the people who don't want to have children. Well, maybe you don't have a stake in the future, and maybe you don't care.
That's actually a topic we ought to do one day. Is why is it that back at times when the world was horrible, when the prospects for your children were terrible, people would have 5, 6, 7, 8 children. And nowadays, when your children are being born into this incredibly wealthy situation where they're
couldn't be better. Never in the history of mankind.
And now people are saying, "Oh, I don't know. Is it right? Is it right to have children in this world?" It's kind of an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, one kid. I mean, we got natural resources. Shut up.
It's terrible. Okay, so we have this list of things that show the decline of Western civilization.
Yes, and I would like to say just up front, some of these are just like, this is lame and we probably shouldn't be doing this. And some of these show genuine cracks in the foundation that will lead to the collapse.
Exactly. Some of them are more serious than others, I think is the bottom
that's fair
line.
enough. All right.
Okay, so the celebration of obesity.
I don't know how this one got on the top. I don't know, but I do agree it's a problem.
It is a problem. The idea.
And the thing was, it showed Mark Wahlberg before he was a famous actor. As just a ripped model for Calvin Klein. Yeah. And then what Calvin Klein's ad is today, which is just 2 fat asses and one of questionable identity.
Yeah. And I think...
What's the point here?
I think the real bottom line point is getting rid of the concept of excellence. And getting rid of the concept of like there should be standards, and there should be standards.
And standards,
yes. Yeah. So the celebration of obesity.
So it's more than just
being fat. It's about look. There should be standards. There should be things that you strive to obtain, and being a fatty isn't one of them.
Good, fair enough.
Okay.
All right. What do you got?
Feminism. Feminism. I mean,
but it's all. I like the subtitle. The destruction of gender roles. So,
yes.
I mean, I don't know if that's quite fair because there's what do they call that? Second wave feminism.
Yeah.
Which is, women should be treated the same as men. This destruction of gender roles, that's fourth wave feminism.
But see,
I think feminists have abdicated their responsibility here. They're like, girls. You had a thing going there at one point where it was like, we should be able to have access to the same jobs.
Yeah.
And then you decided that, all right, it's not that just men, we're the same as men, which isn't true. Yeah. And now you're saying women are men.
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
Yeah. So okay. In the beginning, he created them, male and female, he created them, right?
All right.
So I think... There's a fundamental thing about reality, biological reality. Every single, when you look at foxes, when you look at crows, when you look at every animal you see out there, there's males and there's females. And when we look at birds, we know that female birds are different from male birds, and female foxes are different from male foxes, and female wolves are different from male wolves. And this concept that we should treat male humans and female humans as being the same is just insane. I don't know where that idea came from. But
all right, this is why this thing here should be 2 different categories.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree with what you're saying, because how I read this is this is all in terms of the decline of Western civilization.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right, that's the approach. That's the topic here.
Yeah.
And it is denying reality.
Yes.
Right. So you're undermining once we've decided that reality is no longer matters, it's how we feel about things.
Right.
Well, yes. So as we go down this list, some things are not a threat and are a threat. This is a threat. Like,
this is a huge one. This is
massive.
Yeah. So the idea that, like, women should be prevented from being able to work in this kind of job. Obviously, that was stupid, and we should allow
women can't be doctors; they should be nurses only.
Right? Oh, yeah, that kind of stuff's stupid. Okay, fine. That was an important thing to get over. However, it went so too far into these things like men and women are equal, men and women are the same. It's just a matter of plumbing. All this other kind of ridiculous nonsense we were fed that has been part of the decline of Western civilization. So, anyway.
Hold on, let me just finish off my how I see this is that undermining what reality is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is my biggest concern is that now anybody can redefine what is real.
Yeah. Based on their philosophy or whatever. Yeah, it's terrible. And then, so tied into this one is the death of masculinity.
Yeah, it's the same.
And
yeah,
so it is pretty much the same thing. It's saying that, like, since men and women are the same, therefore, in those areas where men are different, that's obviously bad.
That's obviously bad. Right. Men rescuing people from fires where weak women cannot do it.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
All right. So you're undermining how the value of men, which has given you Western civilization.
Yeah.
I mean, devaluing men who have given you Western civilization. All right. You suck.
When the Hun was attacking Europe, it wasn't women standing out there with swords and sharp sticks to stop them.
No, what you hid the women and children, and you grabbed your sword, and you rushed out, and you probably died.
And that's just what you did.
And that's what you did, because that's so much privileging going on.
So the identity trap, divided by design, identity politics have replaced the idea of unity and common goals with divisiveness and victimhood.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is just garbage that I hate. I mean, is it? Well, yeah. I mean, is it a crack in the foundation of Western civilization? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give.
I think it is.
I think it is. Check.
Yeah. The porn pandemic. Now, this is really more a technology thing than anything else.
Also, I don't think that the porn pandemic is particular to Western civilization.
No.
I think so. In that sense, I say yes, it's awful. But to the topic of is this fundamentally eroding Western civilization, I would say no, not really.
It's undermining any kind of civilization.
Exactly. So I'm going to give that an X, not a check.
Okay. The war on faith. Now, this is absolutely an attack on Western civilization because Western civilization is founded upon three things: Christianity, classical antiquity, and German cultural political ideas. So you have Judaism and Christianity. You have Greek and Roman concepts of governance and free speech and philosophy and all the other kind of things. And then you have the German idea of people have a right to have a say in the laws that are governing them. Those three things are the three foundation blocks of Western civilization. And the war on faith is undermining one of those three at least.
How about the subtitle here? Replacing morality with materialism.
Okay, that's great because that's
very helpful.
It's very helpful because it's another way of looking at the same issue, which is rather than thinking that man's purpose and goal is something related to a moral reality, it's just like how many Xboxes can I have, and
how comfortable can I be?
How comfortable? Yes, exactly.
So Marxism is like once we redistribute everything and everybody has an equal comfortable amount of have all of their material needs met.
Yes,
that's how you perform, how you create the perfect society.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that's
wrong.
We're actually working out here.
Yeah, I don't think that's very good.
Now this is an interesting one. I'm not sure how this I mean, this is one of those things that I would say, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not sure if this is really rotting the foundation of Western civilization.
The suburban trap. Yeah, I'm not really sure about this because in a lot of ways I think the suburban environment...
read out the in the West.
Okay. In the West, the post-war suburban boom promised an ideal lifestyle but led to widespread isolation and dependency. Instead of fostering community, suburban sprawl disconnected families, forcing car-dependent solitary lives. I'm not sure I agree with that.
First off, it's a very American thing.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's sprawling suburbs throughout the Western world.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's such a problem, I mean, I think tighter communities are better than looser communities.
Yes.
But you know what? What about rural farm life?
Exactly.
You think those people,
yeah,
that they suffer from not having contact? Well, you know what? They have church. They have.
See, yeah, exactly. Anyway. I think the problem.
I'm going to give that a next notch.
I'd give that next too, and I think the problem there is not suburbanism, but the decline of those kinds of connections, like church, bowling leagues, baseball, other kinds of
Lions
things.
Club.
Lions Club, those kinds of things that draw people together. That's the problem. Not
everything except for what do they call the home
homeowners association?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I mean, yes. That's the only thing. The only thing I don't want people being drawn together in is the HOA.
Yes, exactly. Because that's just where Karens run everything, right? Okay. Education, the woke indoctrination factory. This is a huge problem because somehow, somewhere along the way, we had such a sense of survivor's guilt, of we're the best is horrible, that this anti-Western idea crept into education, where now, instead of being taught how great it is, how wonderful, how fortunate you are to live in this civilization, you're taught, no, this is how horrible you are, this is how terrible your life is.
I would have put this at number one. It's teaching our young people to hate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if have you ever been to Chad?
No,
me neither. But as far as I know, it's kind of a crappy place.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure there are no schools in Chad that teach Chadians how crappy their own country is.
Probably not.
So why are we teaching the greatest countries that have ever existed, who have given the whole world the gift of modernity, that they suck? Which was this self-loathing Westernism?
This is the kind of thing that tempts me to believe that there really is a devil. I mean, why would something like this happen?
Why would you?
Somebody is conspiring.
Hate yourself, you're teaching your children to hate themselves.
Somebody is conspiring to destroy the thing that has been the most wonderful thing for humanity ever.
Yeah.
So it's like amazing. OnlyFans.
Which essentially is the porn endemic.
Yes.
I mean, it's the same thing, but it's telling adorable white Western women you don't have to get a job.
It's a combination of multiple things. On the one hand, it's the porn epidemic. On the other hand, it's also tied to feminism. So we've somehow identified female empowerment as doing these things that men want you to do.
So the only reason that I believe that the patriarchy actually exists is because we have gotten together in these dark rooms and convinced women that the way to empowerment is to be promiscuous, burn your bras, and sleep with us all day long with multiple men.
Yes.
And then that's how you prove to the world that you are strong and beautiful and powerful.
Exactly. And
the patriarchy does exist.
Well, it was just the meeting we were in just last night. I mean, that's exactly what they were talking about.
No,
I know. We were in the patriarchy meeting just the other day, and they were talking about exactly this. Like, how can we get more women to be involved in this?
How do you do it? You convince them that it's their idea.
Exactly.
Yes, genius. Sorry. You dumb women.
We shouldn't have told you guys that, but that's what we do in the patriarchy meetings. Is we try to convince women to go around and like show us their private parts and everything else, because as if it's their idea. And we got you, you dummies.
Gosh, we revealed those secrets.
We shouldn't have done that. Sorry, producer, cut that part out. Okay, declining birth rates and the destruction of the nuclear family. Now,
that's pretty. I would say I'm gonna give a check to that one there.
Although the idea of the so-called nuclear family,
it's a fake term.
It is, and this idea of mom and dad and the kids living together in one idea, that's what we think of as a nuclear family, and I don't think that's really the basis of Western civilization, because there are a lot of Western countries where it wasn't just mom and dad and the kids. It was grandma and grandpa and mom and dad and the kids.
You're the only person that bought Hillary Clinton's "Takes a Village." Well, no, it's not a village.
No,
it's the same family.
Yes. So I think the family is obviously crucial. But I think the way we've defined nuclear family is maybe a little bit not quite right. But the idea of the decline of the family and declining birth rates, like, why is that? Because people now think that family is no longer a legitimate pursuit. People think that having kids, like, I don't want kids. I'm just going to have a cat. And I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. And I can go out on the weekend and blah, 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 blah. And this idea that you don't get your fulfillment and your meaning in life and demonstrate that you're a responsible adult by marrying and having children, that is a huge, huge part of the decline of Western civilization.
So you're giving that a check mark.
I am.
That is a serious...
That is the serious
crack
problem
in the foundation.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, what did I talk about? There are multiculturalism. All right, let me just do. I'm going to read. I introduced the whole show with multiculturalism. Yeah. So we're told that acceptance of the intolerance of Islam is racist and intolerant.
Right.
Only white Western nations are told that they need to be multicultural.
That's right.
How many times have you heard that China is not multicultural enough,
right.
or anything that is not? What are white Westerners? 6% of the world's population, and they are the only ones who are told that your culture is wrong. The ones that gave you modernity and built civilization, you are the ones who have to change. Multiculturalize yourself. Does anybody say that Brazil
nobody tells Egypt has to do that. They have to do that. Nobody tells the Congo they have to do that. Nobody tells, any number of other countries. They don't have to do that. No. It's only so
the place that gave you modernity, the place that provided you the architecture and classical music, these are the ones who have to dilute their culture.
Yes. It's pretty sick.
And so, I'm just saying.
All right, I have a few more.
All right.
The erosion.
I'll give you some X's and O's on this one.
The erosion of free speech, I think, is a sign of the decline of Western culture, because Western culture is kind of based on the concept of free speech and open dialogue about issues. All right. How about the crisis of meaning? This idea that our lives don't have any purpose other than having
it ties into the war on faith. Yes,
it does. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. How about political polarization? I think that's actually a consequence of all these other things we're talking about, rather than a cause.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that. I'll give that.
Yeah. consumer culture and the loss of authenticity, I think that ties into the crisis of meaning.
Yeah.
This idea that your life has no meaning, so therefore go buy a bunch of crap.
Right. So you get a kick-ass man cave.
Yeah. Technology overdependence. The idea that our lives consist not in interacting with actual people, but interacting with avatars and various technological nonsense.
That's eroding.
Yeah. How about the attack on childhood innocence? I think that is a big one, because I don't know if this is... it's obviously a consequence of a lot of these other things. That nowadays we think that children... We sexualize children. Remember the show we did on... what was that movie that we did? Cuties? Yeah. So the attack on childhood innocence and the idea that children should be protected from certain things.
And now we've changed pedophiles to...
another sexual orientation or something?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Minor attracted people, MAPS.
Right.
What the hell?
I know, yeah.
That's not an indication of the collapse.
Right. So all these things taken together are destroying the one thing that has been the greatest light, the greatest boon to mankind that has existed on this planet.
Thank you very much. And, all right. Scotch ales are good, and I do not apologize for Western civilization.
I do not. I endorse it. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.